A-T. It's in the name.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast. On today's episode, we will be talking about things that are pretty heavy. So that's your warning. Maybe not the best episode for little ears to hear. But today we'll be talking about suicide prevention, as it is, I believe it's National Suicide Prevention Month here in September. And so just to give you a little heads up there as we get into the conversation right after this important message. Hey friends, we've got something really special to share with you today, a brand new children's book that's all about faith, family, and finding joy in the middle of life's challenges. It's called The Adventures of Ben and Travis and the Joy Rider. This heartwarming story follows a big brother in a wheelchair who uses his creativity, courage, and a whole lot of love to help his little brother and cousin overcome life's obstacles. Together they show us that joy isn't about what you have, it's about how you choose to face the ups and downs of life. This book is full of fun, adventure, and hope. It's perfect for bedtime stories, Sunday school libraries, or as a meaningful gift for the kids in your life. Plus, it's a great way to start conversations with your family about resilience, compassion, and faith. Pre-orders are open now, and when you order early, you'll be one of the first to get your hands on this inspiring story. Just head over to benandtravis.com/books. That's benandtravis.com/books and pre-order your copy today. Give your kids a story that will make them smile, laugh, and believe in the power of joy. I'm Travis Creasy, the pulpit minister at Westgate Church of Christ in Dothan, Alabama. That over there, at least one of them, is Ben Hayes. He's the pulpit minister at Highland Park Church of Christ. He also works at Mars Hill Bible School in helping those kiddos out with mental health and I guess whoever else needs help over there. And also all-pro counselor with the Record Counseling in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Ben, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. A pretty busy weekend. Got to do a mental health workshop at Petersville Church of Christ with my cohorts over at Three Chord, Pam and Karen. And it was good to see a bunch of people that I used to go to church with at Petersville Church of Christ and hang out with them, but also talk a little shop about mental health. So I think it's a good thing that the church is beginning to open up their minds and considering some of the things that are really important. So it was a good weekend. Will, you had a busy weekend too. Will Mayan, Highland Park youth minister, also Bible class teacher at Mars Hill Bible School. So
it was a great weekend. You know why it was a great weekend, Travis? Because Alabama won and Tennessee lost.
And you were in Tennessee.
And I was speaking in Tennessee, and I didn't hear one thing about football. And it was a glorious day because we talked about Jesus, and we didn't mention the Tennessee Volunteers. But things are going great. Amy lost her front tooth, and so she pulled it out. Was freaking out. Blood was everywhere. But then she was pumped that she did it. So just trying to raise some strong, independent kids around the Mahan house these days.
There you go.
Well, that is definitely a milestone moment in life when you realize there are these things that will just fall out of your face if you're not careful with them. But anyways, like I mentioned in the intro, we'll be talking a little bit suicide prevention. But as we've been doing over the last few weeks, we have a ministry spotlight, and certainly want to spotlight people doing really good things. We know the world can be heavy, it can be dark. Obviously, some of the events that took place last week have highlighted that, unfortunately, truth about the world that we live in. But as any case, when things aren't great or going well, we should be looking for the helpers, who are the people who share light. And so we certainly want to do that today. And today, we're going to talk about Run to the Cross. Ben, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Run to the Cross is about to have their 16th annual Run to the Cross, plus a fun run, so all the kids can come out and be a part of that. I think that's just a mile run, and then they have a 5K. It takes place at Cross Point Church here in Florence, Alabama, and that's going to be on October the 2nd. They raise money with that event, and the money that they raise goes to a lot of good stuff. I mean, if we try to tell you what all they've done in 16 years, it would take up the whole podcast. So it's a fantastic thing. Registration that day is at 5. The 1 mile is at 5:30. The 5K takes place at 5:45, and then they do a candlelight Devo at 6:45. And there's going to be some special things. They usually have somebody singing and some other stuff going on with it, but Meredith Wallace is going to be doing the singing at this time. Just some things that they did last year. I think that they helped with scholarships at Discovery Place, helping Partners for Africa, Mike Shepard and his mission work, One Place of the Shoals, Emmaus House in Haiti. So the money that they raise goes all over, and it does a lot of good things. And so if you are interested in that, you can go to thecross5k.com. And you can find all kinds of information about the work they do at that website, and you can be encouraged by the good works that are being done through that. So if you can go run, go run. If you can give. If you can just pray for it, I'm sure that they will be thankful for anything that you can do to help out with it.
And they have certainly supported a lot of the things that we do for St. Jude, and so we're very appreciative of that. The Willinghams seem to always be in the giving, helping mood, and that's always a great thing. And more of that is needed in the world. So thank you for all the work that you guys do. And as I mentioned, we're going to be talking a little bit about suicide prevention. Unfortunately, due to the way the world works and human beings and the flesh, as the scripture would call it, there are heavy things in the world and things that people wrestle with, and we certainly don't want to shy away from that here at the Helping Healing Humor podcast. It's really what we're here for, is to bring a little levity and bring some practical things that we can do to heavy situations. And also, like what we say, we like to see God show up and show out. And so, Ben, I'm just going to turn it over to you, and you kind of get the conversation started, and I'm sure Will and I can pitch in. I know I can pitch in some ignorance here and there, and you can just correct me if so.
Well, there's been a couple of times I've talked about this recently at Mars Hill. Occasionally, I do a class for one of the high school classes in health. They just talk about this and the mental health concerns surrounding it. But we also just had a speaker come and talk about it from our area, Larissa Stansel. And one of the things she said was pretty, I don't know, it caused me to pause and think a little bit, because I'd never really seen this number, but she said it's the second leading cause of death between kids ages 10 and 14. That should make us all stop for a second. 10 to 14, second leading cause of death. I don't even know what the first one is. I have a couple of guesses, but I'm not exactly sure. But the fact that suicide is second is a major deal. It is the third leading cause of death among those who are 15 to 24. So when we really stop to think about, if we had something like this, we talk about our world goes crazy about a lot of things, and if this was something, anything else, and even it is a big deal with suicide, but we've got to make sure, hey, look, if this is number two, this is something that can be prevented or at least be helped. It maybe not in every situation, but there's certainly some things that we could be doing to help it. So I think we really need to give it some attention. We need to think about what is it that we do, what is it that we can do. Her statistics also said, and I'll just share these three. Her statistics said in 2023, there were over 49,000 suicide deaths. And I assumed that meant that year. That's how she worded it. So we're just talking about an pandemic. I don't know what the difference. What's the difference in epidemic and pandemic? But it's a lot. And that's just something I feel like we can do something about, that we can help out with it, especially at those ages. And so, just something we need to talk about. Will, you work with a lot of kids, teenagers specifically. I work with a lot of kids in the 10 to 14 range. You work with a lot of people 15 to 24. What are some things you see that you think maybe are contributing factors to it, just in what you noticed?
I think I don't know if this is a contributing factor. Well, I guess let's start here. Contributing factor: stress, and I think almost the pursuit of being pleasing to so many other people.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of kids who are going, I'm going to give a test tomorrow in school. And I know that there are kids that are going to lose their minds if they make a 98. And I get that sometimes that can be great. Like, I want us to strive to be really, really good people. But I also see a lot of parents that are doing the striving for the kids. And I think there's a lot of pressures of, and I've been really glad, and this speaks to your kids. I think society right now is like, Destin's starting her own business. Like, hey, you don't have to go to college. You don't have to be what everybody else says that a good, successful young person looks like. And so I'm actually excited to see some of this. Hey, there are other opportunities. I think there's a lot of pressures, whether that comes from family, whether that comes from friends, school, sports. I don't ever remember, like, Blake's been a friend of the podcast. We ref a lot of rec league, baseball, flag football, basketball. And it is exciting just to see people a part of rec leagues because there's so many people that, I mean, we're starting out 6-year-olds in travel ball and treating it like it's SEC football.
Yep.
You know, and I'm not like, look, you're not going to find somebody that loves sports more than me. I mean, and I think all of us are very big fans of sports and athletics. But I think on some level, letting kids be kids and letting teenagers be teenagers is something that I am strongly starting to go, I don't want my kids doing those things because of the pressure that it puts even on themselves.
Well, think about, I mean, Travis, I can remember watching football and taking it seriously. I mean, we took it seriously as kids. I don't think we took it as seriously when we were kids as they do now. We could watch a football game, and I guess back then you and I were, you know, cheering for a team. We've always cheered for Alabama. We were used to losing. It's okay, you know. And it's like, you lose a game every now and then. You lose half the season, but you didn't think, it didn't feel like the world was falling apart. And now it's like, if you lost a game, I mean, think about the very first game this season for Alabama. The world was falling apart for a bunch of people. And, you know, let's fire the coach and let's fire or let's kick this kid off the team or whatever. He misses a field goal, you know, whatever the things is, there's major repercussions. One of the things we've talked about, I think, is with Ryan Frazier. He talks about the 4 things that kind of cause depressions in teens, and you hit one of them, is expectations. And it's not just the parental expectations. There's expectations from coaches and community and self, you know, teachers. I mean, it's from everybody. And that's one of the things he says causes a lot of the depression, causes the anxiety, along with that isolation. You know, even though the world is open to them, they've got all this stuff at their fingertips. They also have all this stuff at their fingertips, and they're not really. I mean, you've probably seen that. I think eating out. You know,
I think I think every parent wants us to say social media is awful, and I think on some level that is very fair and very true to say. I mean, just this past week, everything that happened with Charlie Kirk. I opened up social media and watched a dude get murdered. And as a 35-year-old man, it was very disturbing for me to watch. And I come into school the next day. I have 10th graders, Travis, 15-year-olds that are explaining the murder of a guy to other people. And I'm going, at 35, Lindsay and I have discussed that for a week and still tried to figure out how do we process what we just saw. There is no way in the world that a 15-year-old sitting in their room at 11 o'clock at night watching that is processing that in a healthy way. I think even our best 15-year-olds, wherever they may be in the world, still are not processing that in a good way. And I think I had some college students call me and go, well, how can you tell me that the world's not ending today? Because all I've seen on social media is here here are all the signs that Jesus is coming back today. And I was like, that'd be the greatest day ever, right?
Yeah.
But they are being fed. And I think as a society, can you be over-informed? I mean,
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I think I try to not be informed on a lot of things because it makes my days better. But I think our kids are, like you get on Twitter today and the Israeli president, whatever, has attacked, someone with Hamas and civilians have died. And it's just like, these kids know everything. Like there's things that they're talking about at 12 that I didn't know till I was 25.
That's right.
And I just go, and then it comes back to like, how do you handle that pressure? Yeah. Because everybody right now is saying the world is a terrible place. Yeah. And I'm still, and Lindsay would say I'm an eternal optimist, but I still believe there's more good in the world than there is bad. Yeah. We just don't see it. And we're not being fed that because
it doesn't get the clicks.
It doesn't get money. That's exactly right.
Clicks. And I think to both of your points, it's go, go, go. I mean, there's something always going on, and we're probably on the other spectrum. We probably don't do enough, like let our kids do enough things, to be active. The go, 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 and then like you said, the expectations are ridiculous. Junior pro basketball for me was trying to figure out how to dribble and how to shoot.
That's exactly right.
Literally what it was. And, I kept score. We all kept score and we wanted to win, but it was about blocking our basket. It was about shooting and dribbling. Football at that age was about blocking and tackling. And, the worst thing I was going to get was my dad, pointing out where I could have been better. Alabama guys get paid now, so they get what they get. But one game, you got Bray Hubbard out here. He loafs on the play, and all of the internet comes down on that kid.
And he's 19 years old.
Which once again, he's getting paid. That is the offset. Like back in the day, I'd have been like, "That's a kid. He's not getting paid to do this." He's getting paid. But it's crazy the people who don't care, and that's how it comes across. They don't care who you are until you do something that is clickbait and click worthy. And so when that goes into mindset, it would be really easy for us to come on here and be like, we're going to have the highest rated podcast and we're just going to say the most outlandish garbage, whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
That's not our gear, right? We want to come in and show practical, true things. And so you're just getting bombarded. And another part is that, Ben and Will, I'm sure you're on the cusp of this. We've all sat on the generational change from analog, I think they call it analog, to digital.
Yeah.
And so we've kind of had the benefit of going from, we're out in the country, you go outside, you do things, and man, isn't this awesome, this digital stuff that comes in. And so we're almost born with a different perspective than these kids that their whole life is digital.
It was a tool to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, this is a great thing. It's going to make life easier. To them, it is just life. And they'll never know
escape. There is no other escape but through my phone. And so whether even I, and Will, great point, we're influenced. Yeah. And we know it's not the whole world. We know it's not an accurate depiction of the world. And so if nothing else, stepping into the gap with our kids and going, okay, we're going to limit this access, but we're also going to sit down and talk about how this isn't really how the world works.
Yeah. Well, and so for what he said, I mean, we talk about expectations, isolation. Even though the world's opened up to us, they're isolated, sitting in a room because so many times they're just sitting on their phones. And then saturation was the third one, and you've already talked to that one. Saturate. There's so much information that's saturating them, and yet there's also fragmentation with family. You got fragmented families. You got, sometimes that's church. Sometimes that's just the way we're broken in so many different ways, the way that it's so easily to become divided over something. And so that fragmenting of society and family and all that kind of stuff. I mean, all those things play a part.
It's interesting to me. And Lindsay and I are put in such a predicament so many days with how many kids will come to us with all of their problems, whether that's they feel like the family is fragmented, and they feel like they're isolated. And I can't tell you how many of those same kids' parents come to us and go, I just wish my kids would talk to me.
Mm.
And then you have the kids coming and going, I just wish my parents cared. And I'm going, y'all are all stinking great people. Like, why can't y'all just have a conversation together?
Yeah.
And it amazes me on the disconnect from great Christian families, even the parents and the kids.
Yeah.
And I just don't I don't have the fix to that other than if you're a parent listening, like, please just sit down at the table and go, just talk to me.
Yeah.
And I'm the world's
and
worst.
Stop and listen.
That's the thing.
Like, that's the thing. Listen.
And that's what I was going to say. I'm the Enneagram 7, as Travis and I are. And a lot of times it's just, okay, well, here's a problem. Let's move past it or fix it. And I can't tell you how many times Lindsay goes, for the love of everything, like, just
listen.
Just shut up.
You don't always need WD-40 and duct tape, And there's a great book we've talked about, How to Talk So Your Kids Will Listen, and Listen So Your Kids Will Talk. And it's really about, I've had so many parents go, well, I'm going to bring them to you. They ain't going to talk. And most of the time they do. And a lot of it is they just haven't been listened to. And so when we talk about this suicide prevention, several years ago at a conference, we've probably mentioned this before, but it's that time of year that we kind of talk about it. So I think it's appropriate to bring it up. Is there's really 3 things that they said, people who are, in that suicidal mindset, many times they're trying to communicate something. There's something that they have tried to talk about. There's a hurt that they've tried to talk about. They don't feel like anybody's listening to them. They don't feel like anybody's paying attention to it. And maybe there are people who are. I think in many cases, they just misunderstand and they don't see that people are listening. But maybe sometimes it's like somebody comes in and tells you something like, if somebody says, well, I feel like, killing myself, or I'm no good. We say things like, stop saying that. You know that you're good. Well, no, they don't. That's the whole thing, is that instead of correcting them and saying, I don't want to ever hear you say that again, then they go, okay, well, I'm not going to say that again, and I'm not going to talk to you about it. Versus, okay, well, tell me why, why are you feeling that way? What's going on? What's happened that makes you feel like you're not worthy? Let's open up that conversation rather than shutting down that conversation, because I think so many times it's how we respond, not that. We really do want to talk to them about it, but the way that you respond to those statements,
the way they perceive it,
they take it as, okay, I'm a terrible person for even bringing that up, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. So that
we talk a lot about communication on here, man.
We do,
and its connection to mental health. For sure. And to your point, Will, I could talk to anybody else. I can talk to anybody else's kids. I can talk to members here at Westgate, all over the place. And man, it just seems like it is. And it's one of those things that I have to just make time to sit down with the kids and talk to them and have a window. And I think that goes back to the go, 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 go.
Yeah.
Is there a window where you have an opportunity to just sit down and hang out? Because the wild thing is, and I think Ben can attest to this, is that when you're just sitting around doing nothing is when they're going to bring that conversation up. Mm-hmm. And so you have to have those windows. And, nothing, and I'll say our disclaimer, nothing that we're saying today is a guarantee that people will not take action, unfortunately, in hurting themselves or ending their lives. But we also want to be the people that we've done everything that we can to make that avenue available to talk about it and communicate about it. And I'll be the chief of sinners here, that I have to sit down and make time and cut that out.
Yeah. And like making time, just even if it's, driving, cut off the radio, talk about things every now and then, find time to play with your kids. They're going to talk to you when they play. Especially that younger age group, they're going to talk to you more. You're driving down the road, maybe with the older age group, but they're trying to communicate something. They're trying to avoid something. Maybe they think they're in trouble. Maybe there's something major that's happened, and they think, I'm going to be in this huge situation. I mean, how many people have been pulled into or tricked by, these scams and different things. And then they're like, well, I've lost all these things. And so they think, well, I'm going to take this is the solution, and it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Things can be dealt with, and things can be worked out, and it's okay. We'll find a solution. And then sometimes it's just trying to control everything in life. Like on weeks like we've had, there's just so many things feel like they're out of control, and people just feel like there's nothing else I can control and do. So this is the thing that I can. And so, what do we do in those situations? I think the main thing is that you speak out about it. You talk to them about it. If you feel like somebody is in that place where they're feeling hopeless, you can look up symptoms of what it's like for teenagers. But if you think they're feeling hopeless, you think that, things have changed, they've started talking about stuff that makes you uncomfortable, their artwork or their poetry or whatever that they're doing is starting to talk about some dark things. If they've stopped doing some of the things that they enjoy doing, if they're sleeping more than they were or less than they were, if they're, giving away stuff. I mean, there's all sorts of little signs and things that you go, something's changed. They don't want to do the things they used to do. They've kind of moved into a different place. Then don't be afraid to just approach it. And if you really feel like somebody is thinking that, and you say, Will, are you thinking about killing yourself? You're not going to make Will kill himself. In fact, you're going to open up a conversation. If he's really thinking about it, then maybe you've saved him. If he's not, then he's going to go, no, I wasn't thinking about that. And if you feel like it's somebody you need to go tell somebody to, or tell it to, I would much rather lose my friendship with Will, which I don't think I will. But if I went to tell an adult and said, hey, I'm worried about Will, can we do something about this? I'd rather him be mad at me than him not be with me anymore.
Yeah.
So it's okay to make them mad temporarily to keep them here permanently. Don't be afraid. That's the thing, is you've got to go share with somebody, an adult, especially if it's a kid listening to this, or if it's an adult listening to this that goes, I don't really know how to deal with it. Then go, find somebody that can and get them to a place. What we've said before, love people where they are. Love them enough not to leave them there.
Is your church looking for meaningful ways to make a kingdom impact? Healing Hands International has been partnering with churches for more than 30 years to make real change possible. HHI is a faith-driven nonprofit that leads life-changing programs like Walk for Water, where communities come together to raise awareness and funds to drill wells around the world. But that is just the beginning. HHI works to aid, equip, and empower communities around the world, teaching families how to grow sustainable gardens, or helping women launch small businesses to support their families. And the best part? All of these programs are done in partnership with local church leaders, empowering gospel opportunities. There are so many ways you and your church can get involved. You can host your own Walk for Water. You can pack gift boxes for kids through the Magi program, or host a seed packing event. Learn more and get involved today at hhi.org. That's hhi.org. Well, Will, you're going to enjoy this next question of the day sponsor from hhi.org. We know they have a lot of grace and mercy because they put up with Will on a regular basis, but the Healing Hands International question of the day is, it is National Guacamole Day. And are you guys guacamole guys? Are you like, because I know there's some people who like their whole identity is guacamole. Like they got mugs, they got t-shirts. They're not going to go to Chipotle without, heavy guacamole. And then there are people like me who could take or leave it. I don't really see the big whoop-de-doo, like what's the big deal about guacamole?
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm 35 and I can't tell you the last time I ate guacamole. So it's like, I want the white cheese dip. I know it ain't real cheese dip, but just give me the white.
That's what I want.
Cheese dip.
Yeah.
And I don't need anything else. And no, I am particular on salsa. Some places have way better salsa, but I mean, I don't see the point in the guacamole.
I like guacamole, but I don't know. I'm kind of like, I don't know if it's just because it's the experience part of it, but it's not like it's the greatest thing I've ever eaten. But if I can salt it down pretty good, spice it up a little, do something to it. But if it's just straight up mashed up avocados, which is pretty much all it is, I mean, they put some other things in it. I mean, it's kind of plain. I will say though, I've had some good stuff with guacamole on it. Like when we went to Mexico on a couple of those trips, there was a place that had like a guacamole burger. Like they put guacamole on the burgers. I didn't think it was bad. I was, it adds to the taste, but it's kind of plain. If you don't salt it up some, put a little bit of spice in it, it's a little bit, But I can dip chips in it and eat it. Good.
Yeah, that's a whole nother party, avocado, because I think that's the issue. I don't really see the benefit of avocado. I'm sure it's very healthy and it tastes like it. So,
but I'd much rather dip in cheese dip than dip in guacamole.
Look,
we're all opposed to it.
We're all headed to heaven at some point. So like, why do I want to pass up on good, unhealthy things that taste way better than healthy things? It's just the question.
It's a good point.
Everybody talks about, hey, I want to go see Jesus. Well, not the way you're eating. You're trying to last here forever. So give me some Dr. Peppers and cheese dip. I'm good to go.
Well, I appreciate you guys' honesty and somewhat agreeing with me, but ultimately today, the message is that if you need help, reach out to us, reach out to someone. The
988. 988. 988. You can text it, you can call it, you can, message, whatever. But if you can't find someone personally to talk to that you feel like if you're trying to communicate it and it's not working, you're trying to deal with it some way and nobody's listening, 988 will always listen and they will text you. Do not text ChatGPT. Okay. That's not the way to go. 988. That's it.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.